Okay, Daf Shavua, Daf Chof Beis Amid Aleph. Benny's here. We can start. It says we left off we were almost up to 20 minutes, so we had to cut it short. So I didn't want to go over 20 minutes. Usually we even do less than 15 minutes. And we left off just Hilchasa Shalach late before the two dots. Before the dots. Hilchasa Mai. What's the halacha? Shalach late Hilchasa Dole. We go back a pasuk. But ben Dogen, we go back in the middle, in the middle aliyah, the second aliyah. We go back in the second aliyah instead of in the third aliyah, because by the case of the mamados, since the psukim go, Bereshis has 5 psukim, and then Yehiraki has 3 psukim. So therefore, if we go back after 3 psukim, we go back to pasuk Gimel and read Gimel Daled Head. Now, even though someone that comes in late is going to think when the chazan starts pasuk Gimel Daled Head, he's going to think that we only read 2 psukim on the first aliyah. At least that's only one problem when people come in late. But if we would, says Rashi, but Ben Dole, says Rashi, with the way the Rashash reads Rashi, that if you're going to have the third aliyah going back a pasuk, so that means you're going to read the first aliyah 3, the second aliyah you're going to read 2, and 1 into the next aliyah, into Yerakiah. So you're going to read 1 into the next aliyah, and then the next guy going back. So there, you're going to get nailed from both sides, because you're going to be reading the first aliyah 3. So a guy who leaves then is going to think the next aliyah is only going to be 2. So a guy that leaves early, and the guy who comes early is they're going to start, and he's going to, by the next, the guy that's the guy who leaves early. A guy who comes late, then they're going to start, and he's going to think, if he comes late, and they start with, and they read 3 psukim, and then 2 psukim, and then 1 pasuk, so then a guy who comes late after that aliyah, he's going to come in, and what's he going to assume? What's he going to assume if he comes late? You're going into the next parsha. So if you're going into the next parsha and you're reading 1 pasuk into the next parsha, so then someone who leaves then also is going to think that there was 2. Again, someone leaves, they're going to think that there's only going to be 2 aliyahs by the next parsha, and someone who leaves early, and someone who comes in late. What's going to happen if someone comes in late? Someone comes in late after the So when's he going to come in that he's going to make a mistake? He's going to come in after the first aliyah. Is he going to come in the middle of the laning? What's going to be the problem? If he's going to come in late, what's going to be the problem? He's going to come in late by which aliyah? He's going to come in, let's say he comes in by the second aliyah late. So he's going to read 2. He's going to hear them read 2 and read 1. If he comes in by the third aliyah late, so he's going to see, unless by the third aliyah late, he's going to come back and he's going to say, wait a minute, they read 5, there were 2 aliyahs, 1 only read. I'm not sure why that's going to be better. The only thing I can think of is the guy coming in late is more prevalent. We said a guy coming in late could ask. So if he's going to come in the other case, some of the versions say this. If you're going to have the second guy, going back, so then he'll come in and he'll ask about it. But in the other way, if you're going to have the third aliyah going into the next aliyah, if a guy leaves early, he's going to think the next aliyah is going to be 2. He has no one to ask. I think some of the Mepharshim learn like that. That it's not 2 problems if you're doling in the third one. It's just going to be a worse problem because the guy leaving. I'm not sure. Tune in tomorrow. I'll try to clarify. Okay. Says the Gemara Vayikra. Da klal. Kol sheyesh bo musaf. We learned any day where there's a musaf. Now, musaf, we're going to see in the Gemara, doesn't mean that it means dafka, that there's musaf or a carbon musaf or a tefillas musaf. It just means an addition. Iboilu. Tainus tzibur bekam. What is the halacha by a tainus tzibur? How many aliyahs do you read? Rosh Chodesh u'moed. On Rosh Chodesh u'chol the ika carbon musaf. That there's a carbon musaf. Arba read 4 halachas like a carbon musaf. But on what? On Rosh Chodesh and moed where there's no carbon musaf low, then we don't. Oh, Dilmor, maybe Yochanami ika musaf tefillah. Maybe there's musaf, a Shmon Esrei of musaf on. I'm sorry, an addition to the tefillah. How's there addition to the tefillah? Because you have anenu, so therefore that would be enough to be able to have to make sure to have 4 aliyahs. Again, like Tzibor on Rosh Chodesh U'May, where there's a carbon musaf, we read 4 because it's a. So therefore, here also with this addition of anenu, we read 4. Tashama, or is that true? So do we say there's no carbon musaf, it doesn't help, or maybe because there's a usafa on the tefillah, you're going to read more. So again, the Gemara is not sure yet what it means musaf. Tashama, let's bring a raya from our Mishnah. Our Mishnah says Rosh Chodesh and Chodesh Shalmoid Karin Arba. On Rosh Chodesh and Shalmoid you read 4. So we could deduce the tainus tzibur. You don't have any more plates. You could, yeah. Tainus tzibur, but we could deduce that on a tainus tzibur Gimel. Aim a ratio, but I'll tell you the ratio of our Mishnah says the opposite. You could deduce the opposite. The ratio of our Mishnah says B'sheni b'chem mishi Shabbos mincha on Mondays and Thursdays and Shabbos mincha Karin Gimel. We read 3. We could deduce tainus tzibur Abba. Then on tainus tzibur you read 4. El me'el like mashmina. So you can't deduce anything from our Mishnah because they have contradictory deductions from the Seifa and from the ratio. Tashima. Let's bring a different proof. Says the Gemara. Tashima, the Rabbi Bavel, the tainus tzibur. Rab came to Bavel on the tainus tzibur. Come, Karav Sifra. He read from the Torah. He got up and he read from the Sefer Torah. Pasach Baruch. He started with a bracha. Shabracha Banu Chasim Lo Baruch. But he didn't end off a bracha of Asher Nasalanu. Nafal Kuliyama Payu. Everyone fell on their face for Tafnon. But Rabbi Nafal Alape. He didn't fall on his face. The Gemara is going to speak about that part. On Amud Beis, that's not for us right now. So says Gemara Michti. Let's see. Rabbi Yisrael Kara. Rabbi was Yisrael, and so therefore we could assume he read the 3rd aliyah. My taima Chasam Lo Baruch. Why didn't he finish off Asher Nasan Lanu when after his aliyah? La Mishum Duboy Lemikra Achmina Basrei. Isn't it because we know that before the takana we have people reading? The last person makes the Asher Nasan Lanu. The first person reads the Asher Bracha, and the last person reads Asher Nasan Lanu, the end bracha. So it must be there was a 4th person, and it was before we made a takana that everyone makes brachos. The Gemara is going to ask, what about the first part of the bracha which he made? La mishum de'boil mikrachin. That's right. Answer lo. Rav b'kahani kara. Rav read, even though it was Yisrael, Rav read the aliyah of Kohen. We find this concept of Rav Huna kari b'kahani because Rav Huna read the Kohen aliyah. And he was so chashuv, so we see that if someone's very chashuv, the only reason we have Kohanim reading first is to keep it simple, that we don't have to decide who's more chashuv. When you have someone that's really, really chashuv akiva, then what? Then we could have them reading first, like Rav Huna did, and maybe Rav did. So therefore, you don't have a proof that there's 4 aliyahs by a tainus tzibur, because it could be that Rav read the Kohen. So that's the but that's not true. Bishlam Rav Huna kari b'kahani. It makes sense. Rav Huna read with the Kohen. He was the greatest. People Ravami Ravasi, Tikani Chashivi, the Arab Yisrael. Even Ravami Ravasi, who were Kohanim. The Kohani Chashivi, they were the most Chashiv Kohanim, the Arab Yisrael, in Eretz Yisrael. Mekiv Kailu, they were subservient to who? To Rav Huna. Mekiv Kailu, Rav Huna. Elo Rav, even though Rav was great, Ha'ika Shmuel the Kahanava, Shmuel was a Kohen, the Dibar Aleh, and the Dibar Aleh, and he used to read before him in that region, meaning even though at that point when Rav got the Aliyah, Shmuel wasn't there, but when they were around, he would, Dibra Aliyah, and he would act above him, Rashi says. No, Rav. Shmuel acted above Rav, like it says about Rav will let Shmuel go in first. He gave him more kavod. So therefore, since Shmuel lived in the region, he shouldn't have been able to get the aliyah, because since there was a greater Kohanim in the area, then Kohanim go first. So says the Gemara, no, that's not true, because Shmuel Nami make a Vayikai, but really Shmuel was subservient l'Rav to Rav. Just when Rav and Shmuel were together, Rav would double kavod. Rav would give him kavod because one time Rav cursed Shmuel, so therefore he felt bad, and therefore he cursed his children, and therefore he felt bad that he should. So then from then on he gave him kavod. But really, Rav is greater than him. He overlaid in front of him. Rav only did that in front of him. Shalom in front of overlay. He didn't treat him with that subservience when he wasn't there. So therefore, when Rav got that aliyah, it could be he did get the aliyah of Kohen. It makes sense that he got Kohen, says the Gemara. Why? The Rav, the Kahani Kara, because Rav, Mistaver the Rav Kahani Kara. It makes sense that Rav got the Kohen. The Isa Gadat Yisrael Kara, if he got the aliyah of Yisrael, for now my time of Ara. Why would he make a bracha beforehand if it's after the takana? I'm sorry, if it's before the takana, why would he make a bracha before? The middle people don't make brachos before the takana. Answers Gemara, no. La'achar takana. Really, it was after the takana, and that's why he made a bracha. Because after the takana, that we made a takana, it used to be that the first person said Hashem bracha lanu, the last person said Hashem lanu, and no one said brachos in between. Then we made a takana that maybe someone would come in late or leave early, and he wouldn't hear the brachos. So says Gemara, if it was after the takana, why wouldn't Rav make a bracha after his aliyah also? Says Gemara, shiny Yosef Rav, the ma'ayil, it's when Rav was in attendance, people might have come late because they didn't know he was going to be there, the ma'ayil, or maybe it wasn't as bad, but mafical enough, if no one was leaving early, right, when they were there, right, when Rasav or Newman are at the minyan, it's perfect. And when they're not, it's also almost perfect, but not as perfect. People might go out. But when they're there, when Rav was there, no one would leave. Tashema. On that, the Gemara wants to bring a proof. Says the Gemara, Zah, Klal, Koshish, but the Bitul Malacha. So we don't have a proof whether or not on a Tainus you read 4 aliyahs or 3 aliyahs. We have no idea if Rav read Kohen. If he was the one that did the Yisrael aliyah, then we don't have a proof even then, because it could be, there's no proof. There's no proof at all. Even if it's Yisrael or a Kohen, there's no proof whether or not it's 4 aliyahs or not. So it says the Gemara tries another proof on the base, on the base. Tashema, Zeh Klal, Kol Sheyesh Bo Bitul Malacha La'am, could go in, we have a brisa that says anytime where people don't have work, could go in Tainus Tzibur B'Tisha B'Av. I'm sorry, where there is Bitul Malacha La'am, where they do go to work, like on a Tainus Tzibur or Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av also, if it's a place, says Rashi, that there's no minhag not to do work, you're allowed to do work. So therefore, anytime where they're going to work, Korah and Gimel, you have to read 3 aliyahs, not 4. The she'emo bitul malacha, but if they are going to work and they wouldn't, if they're not going to work, and it's not a problem anyway, you're not holding them back from work, la'am, you go in Rosh Chodeshim, the Chol Shammai, where there's less work on Rosh Chodesh and Chol Hamoed. Then Kohen Daled, you read Daled. Why is there less work on Rosh Chodesh and Chol Hamoed? You know why there's less work on Chol Hamoed? Because the women, Hashem gave them an extra yontif for Rosh Chodesh because they didn't get involved with the Egel Hazav. So therefore, the Sifsei Chachamim explains in Rashi, or he has a kasha on Rashi, and he explains that, and therefore the men also did less malacha Rosh Chodesh. Today we don't have it. The women do to some extent, but the men don't. But therefore, since in those times, it seems from the Gemara that the men also had less work. So since there's no less of a problem, less could go Rosh Chodesh and Chol Shammai. Chol Shammai, you're allowed to do only malacha that's davar of it, that you can have a financial loss from Kohen Daled. You could add another aliyah. So what do we see from there? Shema Mina. We see from here straight out that on a Tainus Tzibur it says to go Tainus Tzibur with Tishbav, you read Gimel because there's Bitul Malacha, people are going to work. Amar Ravashi, Va'ana lo Tananochi. We learned the opposite. How could you say that? We learned the opposite in our Mishnah. Zeh Klal, it says in our Mishnah, Kol Sheyesh Bo Musaf, if there's an additional, the Ein Yom Tov, and it's not a Yom Tov, Kohen Arba. So, and on a, right, Lasuyemai, what does that include? Zeh Klal, we said that when it says Zeh Klal, includes something. Lasuyemai, Lav Lasuy, Tainus Tzibur and Tishbav. Doesn't that include Tainus Tzibur and Tishbav, where we have Anenu, there's a Musaf, there's an additional Tefillah, and it's not a Yom Tov, you should read 4. So how can you tell me from the Brisa to read 3, even though the Brisa holds that? We see that our Mishnah holds 4. Says the Gemara, Ula Ravashi Masisamani. It's a little bit of a problem. If it's going to include a Tainus Tzibor, then our Mishnah is going to hold like nobody. Mani, who's the Mishnah go out? Lo Tanakam, lo Rav Yossi. It's not going to be like the Tanakam or Rav Yossi of the following brisa. 2 more minutes. The Tanya, because we learned in a brisa. A third thing. First we brought down a brisa that says 3. Then we brought down a Mishnah that seems to say 2, 4. And now it's saying it can't mean that. It can't include Tainus Tzibor because we're going to see a brisa that no one says like that. If let's say says Rashi, if a Tainus falls out on Monday or Thursday, Kohen Gimel, you read 3 aliyos umaftir, and then the third aliyah gets maftir, umaftir echad, and one person gets maftir. The shlishi u'ravi, if it falls out on Tuesday and Wednesday, Kohen echad, only one person reads. Umaftir echad, and one person gets that Torah. Rav Yossi, that's the Tanakam. Rav Yossi Omer Lo Kohen Gimel umaftir echad. You always have 3 aliyahs, and one guy of the 3 gets maftir. So therefore, you see straight out in the brisa, nobody holds 4 on a Tainus Tzibor. So therefore, the first brisa that says 3, and the last brisa brings down 2 mandarim that say 3 on a Tainus Tzibor, the Mishnah must not be including. It must not be right, like Rav Ashi, that the Mishnah, when it says Lasuya Ma, is including a Tainus Tzibor, they have 4. So says the Gemara, Velakasha Zaklal. So what does it mean Zaklal? What's it including? Says the Gemara, lo. That's not a question. Lasuye Rosh Chodesh Umoed. It's to include Rosh Chodesh and Moed that you do 4 at least. Frankly, Gemara, obvious question. You don't have to include that. It says straight out in the Mishnah, Rosh Chodesh Umoed, Karan Abban, Rosh Chodesh Umoed, you read 4. And since the Gemara is Simon Abal Yoed, the Gemara is giving a very clear simon that they don't want you to forget and make a mistake. Even though it says straight out Tanachol, maybe you can read 4, you might get mixed up and say that just like on Yontif, you read 5, so to Achol you read 5. So we're giving you a very clear simon to remember that it's not like Yontif. The low tamer, don't say Yontif Achol Shomoy Kiadavin, don't say Yontif Achol are the same. Elanakodai Klolo Biyadcha. Take this rule in your hand. Called it Tfeile Milsa Mechabre. If one day is more than the other day, if it's more chashuv, Tfeile Gabri Yisera. It has another aliyah, another person. Hilkach, and therefore, Rosh Chodesh Umoed, you'll always remember the Ika Karba Musaf, that there is a Karba Musaf Karan Arba. You read 4. B'Yamtiv, the Asr Basiyas Malacha, it has an additional chashivos that it's Asr not Siyas Malacha. Chamish, you read 5. B'Yom HaKippurim, the Anush Karesh Shisha. On Yom Kippur, where there's an ownish of Kares, it's even more chashuv. You read 6, and Shabbos the Isser Skila. Shabbos, which has an Isser Skila, you're gonna read 7. Okay, Baruch Hashem. We finish half the Amid on Chav Beis Amid Al. Have a wonderful day. Big crowd today. Thank you for coming.